Welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to show you a little trick I used to use a very long time ago for balloon fishing. I've been asked and told off many a times on one of my videos on using balloons as floats for fishing. And I agree, you don't want all your balloons floating away and rubbish in the ocean. There's enough rubbish out there, and us fishermen, we do care about the environment. And where we're fishing, it's our backyard. We like to go play in it and catch nice fish to eat. So we've got to look after it. One gentleman just not long ago asked me if there's any way you can actually, use a balloon float, but keep it. There is a way. Myself and a friend come up with a long time ago, and we did use it. There are pros and cons to it, but overall it does work. But you just got to follow a few steps so it works properly. This will be a bit controversial. Some guys are going to say BS, it's not going to work. Some will. I'm going to say it's up to you. Give it a crack. But we did use it years ago when I was fishing down in Victoria and fishing off the rocks down there, and it did seem to work. But there's just a couple of steps, that's all. So I'll show you the steps. In one of my old videos, you can go back. I'll put a link down in the description to my older video on how to attach a balloon. Most of you guys know how to do it, some don't. There is a video on how to do it. What I've got here is an outfit set up with a balloon, okay, and a leader and a hook. And I'm just going to show you how this little rig works, and I'll explain to you what it does, how it works. So basically, okay, I've got my little happy birthday balloon on the outfit. There's an outfit there, there's a balloon. I've got a few metres of the leader down to a hook, probably 4 or 5 metres down to a hook. That's where I want my live baits, kicking. And if you follow my other video on how to attach a balloon with a loop, okay, this is the way you want to do it. And then I've got a little system here. I've got a little swivel, okay? I'll explain that in a minute. But the whole idea of this rig is you're out in the water, the balloon's floating around, the live bait swimming. The fish hits this, he pulls tight on one end, okay, pulls tight up on the rod, whole thing pulls tight. The loop pulls out of the balloon, like the balloon's wrapped around a loop on your line. The loop will pull out, the balloon will float away, and you're attached to a fish. And it does work very well. The only problem is that you lose a balloon. With this little method a mate and I come up with a long time ago, and like I said, there are a couple of steps for it to work better. It does seem to work. I have got it on here and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to pull on either side, the balloon's going to pop off like that, see that? And now the balloon's actually still attached to the main line. The loop popped out, but the balloon's still attached to the main line. A lot of people are going to say now, with the way that is and the balloon on your main line's probably going to snap with the pressure from the balloon. In a way I'm going to say yes, but no, it depends how you do it. Okay, so when we're making this rig, we've got a little tiny swivel we put on first. It's onto our main line here. We put a swivel on. Let's try and stop that balloon so you can actually see there's a swivel on the main line. And then from the swivel to the balloon, we get like a foot or so of line. We tie it to the swivel and to the balloon, but okay, I'll get to the steps in a minute. But I make sure the line we use is the same as your main line. So if you're running 30-pound line, you want 30 pound on here. If you're running 50, run 50. I think if you run heavier on here, try not to break the balloon off, you're going to put too much pressure on your main line and you're going to snap it. If you've got the same, okay, in theory it shouldn't snap. But in saying that too, there's another thing. A lot of guys only blow their balloons up like quite small, just enough to keep their baits floating and let the current take it out. Some guys could blow them up a bit bigger for the current and the wind. But I'm going to say when you're using this rig with the slide to keep the balloon on your line, I'm going to say blow your balloons up as tight as you can. Because when the fish hits this thing and they take off along the surface, the water, if their balloon's up nice and tight, the water pressure generally will break your balloon pretty quickly. And then you just got a broken balloon on your line. And that's it. There's no resistance in the water, you're not going to lose your balloon, not going to lose the fish, it all works well. Okay, so what I do, and what my friend and I come up with years ago, is we blew the balloons up as tight as we could. So not much water pressure, we'll break them fairly quickly before it puts any strain on your main line. Okay, and we decided, and it seemed to work, main line, use the same break Australian main line to attach to your balloon. So that little bit of line there is the same as the main line. Balloon as hard as possible. Okay, Okay, so when a fish does hit it, it gets that sudden jolt, tries to pull down or take off across the surface, the water pressure breaks your balloon fairly quickly and easily, and then you just got a broken balloon on your line. And no resistance at all, you're not going to lose anything, you keep the balloon, it all seems to work out. Okay, and I said a lot of guys will say yes, some guys are going to turn and say it doesn't work. I'm going to say go out and give it a shot and try your own way. But we used to do this years ago, down south off the rocks, and it did work. Okay. What I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to go through step by step and show you how I'd actually made this. Okay. We'll get to that in a minute, so just keep watching. We'll get to that. First of all, I need another balloon so I can show you how it's all done. Bear with me. I'll be back. I've got a new balloon here, got a nice little yellow one, and about a foot or so. This is 30-pound mainline, so it's a 30-pound, just a 30-pound off this outfit here. Okay. So what I've done here, guys, is basically got a balloon rig on a flat out of live bait. So I've got a big octopus hook here. I've got a few meters a leader. Okay. I don't know how much this is, but it depends on the depth and where you want to fish and stuff. You could run a meter, you could run 2 meters, you could run 5 or 10. That's personal choice on where you're fishing and how deep you want to fish. Okay, so I've got a leader. Okay, and it's joined now to my main line. I've done a knot there. But before I put the leader onto the main line, I attached the swivel, guys. So hopefully there you can see the little tiny swivel at my thumb. The swivel's there. That's above the knot. I've got that above my leader knot. Okay? Because I want that swivel above the balloon as well. And the balloon's going to be on my main line, not the leader. Okay, so there's me a few meters of leader. Now I'm just going to go up here like a foot or so. But before I do that, I better blow the balloon up. But just remember, I'll put the swivel on. The swivel's on the main line. It's above the leader knot. If you attach the leader with a swivel or something, that's fine. Or however you attach the main line. But make sure this little black one for the balloon is above your leader and it's on your main line. Okay? Now what we're going to do is blow the yellow one up nice and big. Hopefully not pass out on camera. Damn. Good thing I stopped smoking years ago. And it's very, very hot in this shed. I know you can tell the shirts and stuff wet. It's very hot in here. It's like 35 degrees at the moment up here. Okay, so I've got that up fairly big. I can get it tighter, but I'm out of breath. So what we're going to do here is make the loop in the mono roughly where you want the balloon. I'm not going to measure because this is demonstration, so I'm just going to put a loop and I'm going to tie the balloon. So I'm going to put knot around 2 fingers. To know how to do this bit, I have done another video. Once again, I'll put it down in the description so you can go watch that video to see how I loop this balloon on if you're not sure how I'm doing it here. So I know it is a little bit dark in the shed. I'm just going to loop that on. Okay. Pull my fingers out. Another thing with this, when we are using this swivel, if you want to keep the balloon, we're going to use a swivel. This loop that we have here, it's the main line going through the balloon. It's put a little bit of loop on there. I will pull that back so it's rather short. So you don't want to get entangled with the swivel. So I'll pull it back so it's really short. You probably can't see green line on a yellow balloon. But you just want a little bit of loop sticking out. I've got there probably a centimetre. It's about a centimetre sticking out of the balloon. Okay? And a lot of guys, when they're doing this, they actually cut the nipple off the end of the balloon too to stop the loop and stuff getting tangled. I've never had it tangle there, but I will cut it off. So I think with this rig and the swivel and everything going on, the less things you can tangle, the better. So get the nipple and a good pair of scissors and just cut that off. And so the less things that can go wrong, the better. So we'll just cut that off. There we go. So now you got your balloon float on there. It's got a loop. Okay, that's ready to go out fishing, almost. Now what I want to do is my bit of line I got late before. Okay, what I'm going to do with this one end is tie it under the balloon. But I want to tie it above where I put the loop through. So you've got the balloon knot down here, right down here, and that's where your main line's through, slip through. I want to go a bit further up the balloon and tie this main line on. a little bit further up, okay? So it's away from your loop knot. So I'm going to tie that one on up a bit further. I don't think the camera can see that, but I wish I could. Maybe you can. I'm just going to show you on the camera quickly there. You've got the loop down one end, the loop knot coming through this end. This new line I'm tying on for the swivel, I've tied right up here, just a bit further up. You can sort of see like 2 knots. Okay. So all we're going to do there, nothing fancy, just a few just granny knots or half hitches or whatever. And tie, it doesn't matter, it's just holding the balloon on. Do like 4 or 5 because you don't. The whole idea of this is to keep the balloon. You don't want the balloon to fall off. If you're not, I'm done. Didn't give myself enough tag to tie knots good. But anyway, there's a couple of knots. This is not going in the water, so we're good. And with the one you just tied, okay, cut your tag off really short. Once again, less things to get caught, the better. So once again, your balloon's on there, on your line, you've got your loop knot through, and at the moment I've got this other one. Okay, now this short one's going to attach the swivel. I've tied that one up the top above, so the swivel one's right up the top, the loop one's down bottom. Now what I'm going to do is just pull the swivel. I just want to tie it on with half hitches or granny knots to the swivel too, it doesn't matter, or a fishing knife if you prefer. But I left it long so I can actually work with it. I want to tie it down really short. So the less loops and stuff you got hanging around, the better. So pull it down really short, the swivel. So the balloon's here, that's probably 1 inch, and that's where I'm going to tie my swivel. How long I'm going to tie it. You saw it before, it's rather short. And I'm not going to get too fancy there either. I'm just going to tie under the swivel. Just going to tie a couple of granny knots or something. Like I said, it's only to hold the balloon on. It doesn't have to be fancy, it's just got to hold. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3 knots. I know it looks like a little bit of mucking around. When you're not talking to a camera and stuff, you can actually tie this pretty quickly. And once again here, you're going to cut her off really short. You don't want tag ends and stuff and big long bits sticking out. So guys, there we go. Hopefully you can see it. You've got the balloon there. You got your that's your main line going up the loop, through the loop. And then you got a swivel one, a little short one going right up high. That's the one to your balloon. And the whole idea of this is if fish grabs this end, this one's going to the rod. Watch what happens. They pull tight. Okay, the lip pulls out, balloon's still stuck on your main line. With your balloon being tight, like blow it up tight, and it takes off through the water or pulls down really quickly, the water pressure will pop your balloon and not your main line. But for that to happen, this needs to be tight, so it's right on the verge of popping anyway. So it needs to be tight, and to stop breaking your main line, I don't know, it seems to work. Just make sure this bit of line here to your swivel to the balloon is the same breaking strain as your main line. Okay, and tie it above your leader, so it's all on your actual main line. So, and then when the balloon pops, whatever, something to pop it anyway. When the balloon pops, guys, you're going to have a bit of dead balloon hanging on a little bit of line on your main line. There's no restrictions in the fishing, no restrictions while you're fighting the fish. It does work well. If you follow these couple of steps, go out and give it a crack. I think you'd be surprised. I think it'll do all right for you. If it does break your main line, you lose a balloon and the fish, well, it's fishing, sorry, it happens. But it shouldn't if you follow these steps. Make sure your balloon's nice and tight. Same pound main line for your little breakaway there, or not breakaway from the swivel to the balloon, same pound as your main line. Just follow those couple of steps and you should be fine, guys. Anyway, enough of that. I'm sweating, it's very hot in the shed, it's getting hotter. If you do get bored or something, guys, and I've got I don't know how many videos on fishing tips, just check up here, you'll see a playlist, and I'll take you to a big long playlist of lots of different tips. Go and have a look, check it out, and see you again, because it's very hot in here.